Hey, beauties. Good afternoon to you. All right, beautiful people. Listen, I don't think people are really watching the signs of the time and understanding what is happening in our economy. Unfortunately, we're living in a Jamaica where I can't give a percentage, but quite a significant number of people are underemployed, especially those who would have garnered tertiary level education. And for those who don't understand what the terminology means about being underemployed, the job that you've gotten or that you're in doesn't match the educational attainment or the skills or the abilities that you have. It's usually below par. So, for example, you may have a PhD in some, business, or doctor of philosophy in, let's say, gender studies or whatever it is, and your salary is at a first degree salary. The salary that you get matriculates or basically is equal or in tandem with somebody who has a first degree, you know so that is what I mean when I say underemployed. So your salary does not match your qualifications, your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your experiences that you would have had, your expertise, and what is happening is that it affects the growth and development of our economy, because what is happening, you find people who are the people who are being underutilized. Oftentimes they have the skill and the ability to grow the economy, to develop the economy, but people who may not necessarily, who may be low skilled or semi skilled, are the ones in the, for example, the managerial positions, in the expert positions, even though they're not expert. So what has happened is that it crushes the economy. It's like there is a hindrance to the economy growing. There's an obstacle, and until that obstacle moves, the water will not pass through smoothly, and then it becomes contaminated. What happens when the contamination happens? You're going to have brain drain, because people are going to be choking and vomiting. And I'm not talking in a literal sense. Bills pile up. People are not able to buy homes in a decent area, not being able to buy a decent motor vehicle, not being able to send their children to prestigious schools, be it a prep school, secondary school or tertiary level. They're unable to really live adequately against the background of a solid standard of living, unable to really charter their course or charter their lives in a holistic, wholesome, sufficient, adequate, and fair way. So, people, you have to make your calling and election sure. By that I mean, by that token, I'm really saying, if you're going to study get higher education rather, especially once you start a venture on the tertiary level or realm, ensure that if you're going to stay in the country, Jamaica, do it in areas that it will profit you well. Outside of that, unless you want to do maybe studies for self-actualization purposes, or you're planning to go abroad, then that is different. Outside of that, if you're looking for it to help you in this economy, in this Jamaica, try and do subjects, courses, degrees, certificates that is in tandem with the economy. Jamaica, we're not as wide and vast as other countries. There are so many, lapses and so many areas that are not filled, and so many gaps that are there. But our country has stifled the educated. It has stifled, the experts in their different areas. And, and if you doubt what I'm saying, each morning just pass by the United States Embassy and you say to yourself, my God, people really and truly cannot manage this country anymore. It is plagued with people. It is plagued. Just that entire section is like a pandemic has happened. A pandemic of people trying to get out of this country and trying to get somewhere where they can see their way forward. That is the reality of the Jamaica that we're living in. Even me, very much underemployed. very, very, very much underemployed. And there are many people in my position at the master's level underemployed. And nobody feels so we not try. And nobody feels it has to do with attitude. Nobody feels just unfortunate that we live in a country that is highly corrupted, filled with nepotism. Who knows who for you to get through? Bandulism is the way to go. So good is now has now taken over for evil, and evil has now taken over for good in the minds of many, not in the reality, not in the holistic sense, because evil is still evil and good is still good, no matter how we want to spin it, no matter how we want to look at it. We just live in an unjust society, in particular Jamaica. And don't get me notwithstanding, I know that there are other countries in the world, but I'm dealing with my home country. Everybody has to sit on their own butt. Every tub has to sit on his own butt. So let another man or woman deal with his or her own country. I'm dealing with Jamaica. People are underemployed, not just unemployed. So the economy is not growing. There's no development. It's fictitious, even under the whole Fitch and Moody. Because you cannot say the economy is booming and boosting and most people are not doing well financially. It's not adding up. We are make up the whole. For any great thing, it has to be the sum of some things, small things. When you build your home was just not built in terms of just cement solely or steel solely. It had to have gravel, sand, rough sand, other materials to make the home. So the home is a composite or compilation of small things. So you can't say the economy is booming and doing well when most people are not doing well financially. So apart from those who are unemployed, you have those who are underemployed and used and abused in many organizations. So it's as though their degrees were waste in some sense. It is as though it wasn't, to the mind of the individual. They're unable to enact what it is that they study. They can't even get to promulgate it. It has not served a purpose for the people in the way that it should have. So when you're going to go for your degrees, ensure that you look at the market. Even I don't believe in telling people to go against their passion. But if you plan to remain, well, you're going to have to make wisdom prevail once you decide to remain. It is an unfortunate, colossal damage that you just have to deal with the consequences of. But that's the Jamaica that we're living in. No one, and when I say no one, I'm just speaking loosely to say a lot of people just can't be bothered. They're not trying hard enough to make changes because we see the same things happening every 5 years. We just swap one color for the next to go in positions of authority and leadership, while the economy is just ravished and raped, molested. It's like a pedophile to the economy. Unfortunately. That's a sad reality, That is just the sad reality of our country right now. Many, many people are underemployed. BPOs have become the order of the day. Somebody was sharing with me, they don't know how true the story is, but I wouldn't doubt it, of someone having a PhD. It doesn't matter what they have it in. It could be in zoology. And they were told that the person was working at a call center, not in management, but being on the phone. Not in management, but being on the phone. There are many people with master's degree. They're probably, they may not necessarily be packing bags as a store clerk, but nothing really much above packing bags or being a little, and just maybe a notch above being a store clerk. Having their master, some might even have 2 masters. The algorithm is off. It doesn't add up. And it has nothing to do with having bad attitude or being tardy or not dressing properly. It's just the fact that we live in a corrupt country. And if you don't know this person personally, then I'm sorry for you won't get the big bucks. If you're not in this clique or this circle, you won't get the big bucks. So it doesn't matter how educated you are. You could have 10 PhD. You're going to be stuck at the first level, first base. So beauties, for those who are studying, ensure that it is in tandem with what is happening in our country. in order to survive above survival. Guys, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please share